Where's my tea? There you go. Thanks. What the f?
Movies and series with a non-linear plotline are very fun because the human mind is very used to having everything in a certain order, but once you take that apart, it's very interesting and captivating. But before we start talking about non-linear scripts, let's start in a non-linear fashion to talk about the linear script. This is the most basic form of plot. We start in point A at time and we move all the way to point B in the future through a series of chronological events to happen to our characters. On the other hand, non-linear scripts are where we introduce occurrences that didn't happen in the current chronological time. They either happened in the past or will happen in the future. There are two types of nonlinear plots. The first one is what they depict, the classical one, and it's usually what we see in most movies and series out there. The second one stems from the first one, and that's time travel, and sometimes the lines can be blurred between the two. So before we start looking at time travel, let's look at how we can write the classical nonlinear plotline that we usually see in movies and series. A nonlinear script isn't as hard as you think because in the end, when you crunch it down, it's just one long linear plotline. You just mix and match the two. For example, I could have told the story of me getting a cup of tea as me sitting down, remembering I don't have tea, complain to my camera, and a week later sitting down and remembering that I had a cup of tea. That's linear. But instead, I could take that event, the first one, and just push it right between the two others. So I almost sit down, I remember something, and then I get a flashback of a week back, see that I didn't get my tea, and then I remember that, I go and grab my tea. That's nonlinear in the most basic way there is. Of course, there's also the motive. Ask yourself, do you really need to make a nonlinear plot? If you're doing it just because it's cool, then you don't need one. A nonlinear plot needs to serve the plot itself. You don't just mix and match things. It needs to serve a certain purpose. Do you want a flashback so someone will remember something and the flashback is too far to actually start the story from there? Do you want two plot lines maybe happening at the same time or one in the past because you don't want the viewer to see something or know something? Ask yourself these questions before you even start writing that plot. Then we start getting more confused when you get into time travel.
Hi. Yeah, Grandpa Time? Yeah, you remember you owe me that favor? Yeah, 5 minutes back. Thanks. Well, I need you to roll back time because I forgot to make tea and I lost 5 minutes and I'm a part-time YouTuber, so I don't have any more time. So please? Thanks, I'll go make tea. Bye. Hi everybody and welcome. What? Where's my tea? There you go. Thanks. What the f?
Time travel is one of my favorite genres out there, so push the like button if you're just like me. But sadly, there aren't a lot out there, and every one I get is a gem for me, because time travel is very hard for the human mind to comprehend. A nonlinear script can be linear and is linear by nature. You just take a linear script and you mix and match it. In the end, it's linear. But time travel isn't by nature. You can't order it into a certain line of chronological events. By its name, time travel is non-linear and non-chronological. So what I would suggest for you at first, start simple. Start with a very simple plotline like this, for example. It's very simple and it's really easy to comprehend. And the second one is use a tool like a chart instead of just using a word processor, because once your plot of time travel gets really complicated, you can't really write it in a word processor because one thing can affect the other and maybe it's a loop, so how do you describe it in a word processor? Instead, I'll link some chart tools down below, they're all free, where you can just do charts of one event leading to the other and to the other and maybe converges, and as a human, comprehending things in a graphical way is much easier. So use a chart and a word processor, it would make your life easy. But first, make sure you write a few nonlinear plots because it's really hard to start with time travel plots. You can watch the next episode of me making a serious short film right there, or watch what YouTube recommends if it's not out yet. You can also subscribe because you're awesome. I've been Tim and I'll see you next week. Bye!